Okay, I am very impressed by this Tesla stock news, and so should you. In China, 7,500 Tesla insurance registrations were reported for the week of October 9th through the 15th. At first glance, this does not sound impressive, but if you take a look at this chart plotting out 1 week through 52 weeks, tracking 2022 compared to 2023, this yellow line is 2023. You just did about 4x the same amount of vehicle registrations this last week as you did for 2022. That's very impressive. What is equally as impressive, the Model Y was the top seller in the Chinese passenger SUV market last week, which did beat out the BYD Song Plus, which came in at number 2. What could be even more impressive than all of that is how Tesla stock is trading heading into earnings. Tesla stock is actually trading higher, up about 0.5% today. And over the past couple of weeks, Tesla stock has been very bullish. You're technically speaking, really, you couldn't look better heading into Tesla earnings. Whereas if you look at something like a Netflix, which reports earnings tomorrow alongside Tesla, Netflix has basically been falling every day heading into their earnings. I'm duly impressed. We have all of the news you need to know on Tesla stock today. That is just the tip of the iceberg, as well as what's going on in this Israel conflict. What do you need to know in this developing story? And why did the markets fall over 1.5% today on the NASDAQ, soared back, and then subsequently started to fall towards the end of the day? What's going on here? Let's help put this into context for all of you guys in this video. But first, before we get into it, if you are a Tesla stock investor, this is a roll call. We need you to hit the like button. 1, because it's free 99, and 2, it lets everyone know that you are also a Tesla stock investor that is watching this video, that is staying up to date with all of this information you just need to know. Most of your hedge fund institutional investors are way less advised, educationally speaking, on Tesla stock than you are. That is something to be proud of. You have the insight knowledge on what's going to move Tesla stock before big money does, because you watch videos like this one. And number 2, subscribe to the channel if you want to stay up to date every single day with what's going on with Tesla stock as well as the broader markets. So first things first, before we get into more Tesla stock news, and trust me, it gets even more exciting, I want to talk about what's happening in the broader markets today, because like I said, the NASDAQ was down about 1.5%. You soared back. You were green almost 0.5%. And now you're down about 0.5% at the time of recording this video. It's a wild swing today. Couple different things that are going on. But number 1, it has to do with the data, the retail sales data, in which I talked about this in the video last night. I said last night that I think retail sales would probably come in bad, which in this market environment, you kind of want to go with the opposite of what you expect. So I said retail sales are probably going to come in stronger than expectations. And that's exactly what happened. Retail sales came in at 0.7% month over month for the month of September. Wall Street was expecting 0.3%. Even last month's retail sales number was revised from 0.7 to 0.8%. So across the board, hotter than expected retail sales data. As you know, at least if you're a viewer of this channel, about 70% of the US GDP comes from consumption and personal spending. So when you see retail sales beating over 100% higher than the expectations, that's showing the economy is at least stronger than what people are giving it credit for. That data sent the 30-year Treasury yields up about 8.5 basis points and sent the 10-year Treasury yields up almost 15 basis points. That is more than half of one rate hike. That is insane. It's honestly crazy that you were down 1.5% at the lows of the trading day, about in half an hour or so into the trading day, and then you soared back given the 10-year treasury is up 15 basis points. I really have no rhyme or reason for this, besides potentially people want to get some exposure to equities for 2024. Investors right now are at some of the most underweight levels of exposure to equities that they have been in decades. So maybe it's some of that, maybe just some forced positioning, if you will, into stocks. Some of your small mid-cap stocks are doing exceptionally well today, or at least they were earlier in the trading day. And then maybe it could just be simply due to retail sales coming in better than expectations. You guys got to remember that, after all, who cares if the Fed raises rates one or two more times? You want to see the economy doing well. This retail sales data is very suggestive of a soft landing. I know it's backwards looking. That data was for the month of September. We're over halfway through the month of October, so it's not the most current data, but it's still a good sign towards a soft landing, which is good for stocks. Following this data report, Fed Barkin says longer-term rates have moved up, which has tightened conditions. Again, he's referencing the 10-year treasury and the 30-year treasury soaring recently. He then says the challenge with depending on rates is they can move. Fed Barkin then said, I don't know where rates will be in 3 weeks from now, given what's happening globally. He's referring to this Israel conflict. There is a big potential impact on the U.S. economy via oil. About 20 to 30% of the world's oil supply flows through the Strait of Hormuz. If they were to restrict this, Iran or Saudi Arabia, which has already made threats you could kind of relay back to energy, well, you could have a catastrophe on your hands. Let's just call it that. 10, 15, 20, $30 gallons of gas at the gas pump. That could push you into recession faster than I smash a plate on Thanksgiving. Okay, it would be very quickly. Again, that's why I keep you guys informed with this Israel conflict and how things are going. Fed Barkin then rounds off his speech with, quote, I believe we have a restrictive policy stance. This is basically what all Fed members are saying right now, but I do find it notable he did acknowledge there's no saying on what could happen with rates. If this situation did get bad, investors are going to buy bonds. They're going to drive yields lower. They're going to buy gold. They're going to drive the price of gold higher. This can ease financial conditions, but would that offset 10, 15, 20, $30 gallons of gas? Absolutely not. So I think the Fed wants to be real careful here, and we want to see throughout the rest of this week how Fed speakers acknowledge this situation on what's going on over in Israel, the possible impacts we could see to inflation via energy, but what kind of impacts we could see to the economy if energy prices did go higher. It's one of those tricky situations where if the price of oil did skyrocket, obviously inflation's going to go much higher, but the economy is going to get much worse. So they might just offset themselves in a very strange way. We'll have to wait and see what other Fed speakers say throughout the rest of this week. Now, Hamas says a senior commander has been eliminated in the Israeli airstrike as of Tuesday. They put out this note on Telegram. We did get potentially some good news regarding this conflict. The Israeli military has said that the next stage of this campaign against Palestinian militant group Hamas need not be a long-anticipated ground incursion. Quote, we are preparing the next stages of this WAR. We haven't said what they will be. Everybody's talking about the ground offensive. It might be something different, a spokesperson said. Which, who knows exactly what the next stage would be? It looks like a whole lot more potential bombing is probably what they mean here. Speaking of bombs, I wish I didn't have to report on any of this, let's be honest here, but it can affect the markets and will affect the markets. So I will report on it, regardless who likes it or who doesn't. This news is really disheartening, very, very sad. 58 minutes ago, at least 500 people have been eliminated in a hospital bombing, Gaza Health Ministry says. If confirmed, the Israeli airstrike would be by far the deadliest since 2008, according to the AP. We have already received news yesterday that the resistance axis, which is Iran, Iraq, Syria, Hezbollah, Hamas, might launch a preemptive strike on Israel. This kind of news, well, it doesn't help the odds that that does not happen. So we want to watch to see if there's any new developments here, but it looks like some of that incursion or invasion talk has started to die down. That could be good news for our markets. That could be good news for the bulls. But as we have already reported, Joe Biden, young Biden, he's going to visit Israel, probably arrive there sometime late tonight, Wednesday technically after midnight, and hold a meeting with Israel's war cabinet. I doubt any major actions are taken over the next 12 to 24 hours or so when Biden is in the country, because, I mean, that would just not be advantageous for any of the resistance access. But it's possible. We would definitely want to watch that situation very closely. If you are an equity investor, it does make sense to have some hedges on your portfolio right now. If you guys want to come trade with us live in real time, link down below in the description of this video. We did trade this drop off the peak pretty perfectly. Made a trade today, already up about 25%, looking to sell out of some of those positions, get that initial capital back, and ride some free contracts. If you guys want to be a part of trades like that, again, I do send out all of my trades in real time. Link down below in the description of this video. Let's now get into all of your Tesla stock news, and then we will follow that up with the option activity. You want to watch that pretty closely heading into Tesla earnings, because usually the option activity can tell you a lot about what Wall Street is expecting and or positioning their positions in Tesla for earnings. Tesla China has now exceeded all of 2022's insurance registrations. In 2022, you had 440,793 vehicle insurance registrations. So far, year to date for 2023, you have seen 446,074. So you have this number beat by over 6,000, and we still do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 weeks left of this year. So this number for 2023 probably going to be pretty impressive. Tesla's Model 3s in Australia hit its lowest inventory in 12 months. Shows buyers are buying used Model 3 sedans faster than supply is entering the market. This is in line with the fact that Tesla has cut Model 3 supply in recent months as it prepares to shift production to the new 2024 Model 3. Sawyer Merritt is reporting that Auto Trader has released their full new Model 3 review. Quote, "This is a really nice improvement. The refinement is excellent. I love the suspension, the quietness. I think it looks better than it did before. It feels more grown up and premium. As a result, it's more desirable than ever. If you ever put off buying a Model 3 because you didn't think it was a premium or fancy enough car, I think this car might change your mind." In breaking news, BMW has joined the North American Charging Standard and will grant access to the Tesla Supercharger network to their customers starting in 2025. For now, in the US and in Canada, drivers of BMW, Mini, and Rolls-Royce electric vehicles in the US and Canada will gain access to designated Tesla Supercharger stations in early 2025. The new agreement comes in addition to BMW's commitment to develop a new charging network in North America with 6 OEM partners. So they're trying to play the best of both worlds here. Tesla's official X account made this post and shared this 5-minute long video of FSD driving the car itself, kind of what Holmar's catalog does all the time. But they do say Tesla full self-driving capability demo in Austin. FSD capability features use vision neural networks to perceive and understand the world, just like humans do. Via our unique fleet learning approach, we are able to connect anonymized data from our vehicles, meaning the neural nets have learned from a few orders of magnitude more driving scenarios than the average human driver, including unusual and weird ones. They're basically saying FSD is becoming a better driver than you are. Barron's put this piece out that says Tesla's recalling more vehicles today. For investors, it doesn't matter. In fact, the recent recall data for the electric vehicle giant indicate something positive. Most Tesla recalls are fixed with software updates. One implication of that is the cost to correct problems is low. Tesla recalls are way down year over year. So far in 2023, Tesla has recalled some 439,000 vehicles, putting it on pace to recall about 550,000 units for the full year. In 2022, Tesla recalled 3.8 million vehicles. I did not even know that. So that is a big improvement from last year's number. And if you take a look at this chart, Tesla, that might sound like a big number, but that's actually a pretty small number compared to the recalls you see from other vehicle manufacturers. Hyundai has more recalls than Tesla, GM has more recalls than Tesla, and Ford, for whatever reason, has a lot more recalls than anyone else, like triple the recalls that you're seeing from even a GM, which I find very strange, but again, this is really good news for Tesla. In breaking news, the new Model 3 is now available to order in the UK. Deliveries start in January of 2024. The starting prices for the Model 3 rear-wheel drive is €39,990, and the Model 3 long range is €49,990. And it's still the craziest thing to me. I've never been to Europe, so maybe it's just crazy to me. The steering wheel and the driver's side on the right side of the car. That's just different to me. Ford is laying off about 700 workers who build the F-150 Lightning, the electric version of its best-selling pickup truck, and unlike other recent layoffs, this one has nothing to do with the ongoing strike by the United Auto Workers Union. A Tesla ship has arrived at the port of Zeebrugge in Belgium. A great day for Tesla in Europe. Expect many upgraded Tesla Model 3s very soon. This ship holds thousands of them. Lucid just announced they delivered 1,457 vehicles in Q3, up 3.8% versus Q2 and up 4.2% year over year. Q3 production was 1,550, down 29% versus Q2. In August, Lucid reiterated they would produce 10,000 vehicles this year, but through the end of Q3, they only produced 4,037, so it looks like their estimate for Q4 is around 4,000 vehicles to be produced. Tesla option activity is surprisingly bullish today. You do have a positive order value of 73%. You have seen 416 orders totaling $195 million. That is pretty dang strong, considering the last 30 minutes or so of trading is when you normally see hundreds of millions of dollars head into Tesla options. Seeing this number right now, we could be ending the day over $1 billion flowing into Tesla options. And just a reminder, Tesla still, for probably the foreseeable future, is the most shorted stock on our markets, accounting for over 2.5% of the total short interest on the entire markets. You currently have $21.65 billion worth of shorts in Tesla stock, with an estimated short interest of free float at 3.14%, exceptionally higher than a Microsoft, an Apple, a Google, an Amazon, Nvidia, or any other big tech stock out there. And just to remind everyone of earnings today and after hours, you have United Airlines. I did make a trade on that, you guys. Again, if you guys want to come join me, link down below in the description of this video. Interactive Brokers JB Hunt, Hancock Whitney, Pinnacle, Wintrust, and Omnicom Group that report today in after hours. And then tomorrow morning, Morgan Stanley, Abbott, US Bank Corp, Allegiance Health, M&T Bank, NASDAQ, Ally, First Horizon. And then obviously tomorrow in after hours, Tesla, Netflix, Lam Research, Las Vegas Sands, Alcoa, Discover, Columbia Bank, Zions Bank Corp, Steel Dynamics, and Crown Castle that all report earnings. Netflix and Tesla, those are the big dogs for tomorrow that really kick off your tech earnings. And again, I have very great expectations for Tesla. We're going to get into that more on the video that comes out at 9 p.m. tonight, so stay tuned for that one, and that's going to be a juicy video. And at 9 p.m. we will also give you an update on this Israeli conflict, what's going on. Biden should be making his way over to Israel here pretty soon, and it does look like the markets are taking a sharp drop into the end of the trading day, really on this news recirculating that 500 individuals were eliminated at that hospital in Gaza. That is not exactly the greatest news. The markets are not liking that all too much. If we take a look at the Google Trends data for Tesla for all of their models, it looks like everything is starting to trend downwards. The S and X staying pretty consistent to where they were previously, but the Model Y and the Model 3 are starting to trend lower. Tesla's global inventory is also stabilizing after a big jump in the Model X as well as the Model S. Model 3 inventories remain very low, the lowest out of all of them, and the Model Y remains just under the Model X and the S, but still pretty low relative to what we've seen, especially during the last quarter. Currently, there is about 2,800 Model S's, up 135% on last quarter. Model X, about 3,500, up 91% from the last quarter. The Model 3, you're only seeing inventory of 1,338. or 4.6% higher than last quarter, only 60 vehicles more. And the Model Y, you do have 2,581 for inventory. This is up 69% versus last quarter, but still some pretty low numbers overall for Tesla, considering Tesla sells hundreds of thousands of vehicles in any given quarter. Just a quick look at the technicals. I want to break this down more again on the video at 9 p.m. tonight. Tesla stock is firmly above its 50 and 100-day moving averages. That is great. Really, earnings tomorrow, you're going to get a break above 265, or you're going to get a break down to about 240. That's what I'm kind of expecting here. A break above 265 leads you into a larger rally into the 300s as per my observation. A break under 240 leads you down to about 213, that 200-day moving average. If you look at the MACD is pretty neutral overall. It's neither bullish nor is it bearish. And the RSI is literally almost as neutral as you can get at 49.66. This is actually really good if you compare this to something like a Netflix, which also reports tomorrow, which has basically been falling for a long time now, heading into their earnings. Tesla looks exceptionally well heading into their earnings. So that is going to go ahead and conclude this video. Hit the like button as well as subscribe to the channel if you made it to the end of this one. Consider sharing it with a friend that needs to hear all of this information. Again, come trade with us live in real time. Link down below in the description of this video. My name is Michael Tyler. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.